Hello, people. I hope you can all hear me already and hear me all right. I'm looking across at the comments now and seeing all of the wonderful people here. Welcome to a Johnny Vedmore live. Tell me if there's any issues. I like to have to. The people are coming in. I noticed that earlier there was noise from the next undesert, the check, and of course, Dragon Spike number 8 said bound to he went up against the highest level powers. They were going, they're never going to let her ride off into the sunset. Well, you aim for fairy tales, you get fairy tales. That's what's going on. Joel Allen's going to be here, hopefully. And of course, Desert Rain has turned up. And there's Change My Picture is really interested here, John. Why the long wait? Yes, hey, everyone, is to read the wild. I love to read. And here it says, "Is it Rumble last? I don't understand. LOL. Do I need to Substack or something?" It is going out on multiple platforms today. We're going out here on Facebook, on the Facebook page, on LinkedIn, on Twitch, on X, and on Rumble. Ray J is here and around. Brilliant to see him. Dark Commission is also in the house. Really nice to see Dark Commission. Of course, was on the Truth Bomb last week. For those who are tuning in expecting a Truth Bomb for today, well, there's one next Sunday. And then the Sunday after, I'm at my christening of my cousin's. Away for that one. There is one next Sunday, and then there will be another one after. And they're Truth Bomb main events on its way. There's a be back in the chat. It's nice to be back in the chat. Joe Allen, of course, went up against DC on Truth Bomb. It was brilliant to see. Awesome. Ah, there's Olive Grove here as well. Good morning from Australia. Good morning from Australia. Desert Rain, who I love so much. Tricky Woo is back. Desert Rain, can I just say, I really appreciate you for retweeting this stuff on X. Retweeting my stuff on X and getting out there. I am really heavily censored. Tricky Woo says, Johnny. Was you say it like that? You said it like that. Ray J, sound cutting in and out, apparently. Is that just me? Yes, sound going in and out. Let me see. Actually, no, it's about that. Give me just a second. 1, 2, 3. I think I need to have the mic right up close and personal with me, to be perfectly honest today. And I think this might help a lot more. It might be me just being a bit quiet there. So sorry about that. Little Carol, who I seen the other day, is in. Truth Bomb is brilliant, says Change My Picture. Thank you. I it doesn't work unless all of you guys are there enjoying it. It's a group effort. We have a great time. Someone else, yeah, Joel Allen, not just you. And better. Yes, okay, we're back on. We're back on. So today's been a big day. Yesterday was a big day. So the 25th, Friday, um, it was my birthday. And wow, Virginia Giuffre died on my birthday, which was completely unexpected. Completely unexpected. Um, uh, I said completely unexpected in the same way. I actually put up the Pottinger Ultimatum on Substack and on X recently because I believed there was going to be some twist and turn after the Gouffre accident, of course. Thank you, Desert Rain. Thank you for everybody with a happy belated birthdays. Well, I do appreciate it. I was made cake and stuff by having get company by get a little cowl and the like. So it was very nice. It was a very nice time indeed. Ah, look, Ellen's here. Good day, Feliz. Hello, Feliz. Well, we used to say, well, Feliz never dead, but Feliz Cumpleaños. I suppose that's Portuguese then, is it? And, of course, Aji here. Happy birthday, Miss Vedmore. Thank you very much indeed. Lots of lovely birthday loves. Same day as my mum, yeah. Oh, but Jamie Bulger died the same day as my mum. Yeah, we actually had this conversation the other day, didn't we, Teresa? We've been having a lot of conversations, recently. It's been very good. Yeah, Ray J. Happy birthday, Rip Virginia Giuffre. I feel sorry for Virginia. We're going to talk about this in detail. It's a complicated case. It's a complicated case. There's a lot of people. Yeah, life is short. Eat the cake. Never say no to cake. Just like Marie Antoinette basically said. It has been a big day. It's been a big day for lots of different reasons. I'm drinking Parma Violet gin and tonic here. So, and I really mean it. Um, I feel sorry for Virginia Giuffre. Raise your glasses if you can with me and say R.I.P. Rest in peace, Virginia Roberts. Um I feel very sorry for her. I feel very. I mean, I don't think she completely knew what she was getting involved in, but at some point she must have known what she was involved with. And we're going to talk about that today. Of course, Olive Grove says 25th of April is Anzac Day here in Australia and New Zealand. Sorry about my accent there. That was racist. That's like me doing an Indian accent, which I won't try and do now. I remember I had lots of down thumbs on one video when I tried to do an Indian accent. However, when I try and do an Indian accent to Indian people, they absolutely love it. So, go figure. Um, yeah. Okay, so we're gonna have to talk about this. We're gonna have to talk about Virginia Giuffre because as soon as I heard the news, and I heard the news as soon as it really happened, people started messaging me, but I didn't really look at my messages or anything. I was taking my birthday off and trying not to think about any of this dark, horrible stuff that's happening in the world. Trying not to. I will say, Ellen, she says, officially, I think Roberts died on the 24th. Well, I think it's the 25th. It's written down as the 25th. I found out about it on the morning of the 26th. So I think she died on the 25th. It's written down on a Wikipedia page. Now we're going to go. I'm not sure if I want to do that first or second, but I think we should probably have a little look at something. There's something very interesting. I wonder if any of you can help me out because I know some of you are big fans of music. And a lot of you are probably about the same age as me. I was a big punk fan back in the day. My main genres of music was punk, folk, and rap. Those are the ones that I really loved when I was a teenager. So I used to listen to everybody from NoFX across to the Vandals when I listened to punk. That was my era of music and all of that. And something really weird happened today. Something really weird. Let's go across. I'm gonna have to share screen. I'm just gonna have to work out because I am using a couple of functions for the first time. But I want to look at something and I want to show you something. Impromptu, I suppose. Let us see. Share screen. We will. There's DC say Joel Allen. Now I'm thinking of leaving them at second knuckle. Right? Yes. Okay. Let us find. There we go. Let's get on to this. So I hope you can all see that nice and well. This is sharing my screen here. So I'm showing you here my X account here. You can see what it looks. You can see what it looks like. And as you see, this is the Pottinger Ultimatum, the takedown of Jeffrey Epstein, which I put up just on April the 3rd. I put the entire article on X just after it was or around the time Virginia Giuffre had the supposed bus accident and she was going to die 4 days later. When I heard that, I just wasn't sure what to think. I think most people who are on the case were probably thinking, "Hey, there's a let me bring that comment down from DC." I think most people, yeah, let's Olive Grove. R.I.P. Poor thing and condolences to Virginia's children and family. Most definitely, most definitely. Now that's a complicated issue as well because, of course, everybody has differences with their family, but uh, death unites as well as divides. Um, Desert Rain says, "Feels so bad. I didn't believe Virginia's bus crash story." Well, she did. She was in a bus crash. She just wasn't 4 ways a days from death. From death. And what does that say? Tazri can say, "Can you quickly do a bit of an Indian accent, please, Johnny?" And no, how dare you? What a terrible thing to ask. And William Gilchrist says, "Hello, all." You see, I have to say, Tazri Kens, just to say, the Welsh accent and the Indian accent are almost indistinguishable from each other every now and again. Because hear me, I'm speaking. If I was to go into a bit of a Welsh accent from people who are up the road from me, I am almost into an Indian accent. And it's it very flows in and out. A lot of the time when we do make fun of Welsh, like our own Welsh accent, we often go into Indian accents by accident. So, William Gilchrist, welcome. Glad to see you here. It was so here we go. There you go. It was 25th, at least in Australia, when she died. But I do think it was on over here. It would have been the late on the 25th. There's some now down under the day's difference, I believe. Indeed. Seen no FX a bunch accidentally. Yeah, wow. But a brilliant band. Shame they went for the boop boops when that came up. That was a shame. Those in the northern hemisphere need to accept the southern hemisphere actually exists and matters. Not sure they will. I have to say they're a bit. People are a bit selfish about that down here in the southern hemisphere. Um, no, I'm joking. I love the Southern Hemisphere. I've been down there too. Was really busy rolling smokes, couldn't type until just now. Hello, live with meters and no measure BA. Nice to see you. BA, I suppose that is. Hello. Nice to see everybody having and saying hello and etc. Here we go. JV, what are your thoughts on the government saying they will be geoengineering soon? They're geoengineering now. It's happening. It's just happening. That's the way it's going. It's just the way it is. They're already doing it. So that's just the way it is. I don't know why my camera is very slow today. I suppose it just might be that I'm officially on 1080p or something. Maybe I should actually turn down, but I can't actually turn down the definition now that it's on. Anyway, okay. We got to get into some stuff though. It is it is true that I think everybody's already seeing how geoengineering works now. Everybody's watching the sky. So that is something that I think we're gonna see a lot more of. Now we're sharing the screen. So let's go back across. There's Pottinger Ultimatum. Now, I've put the Pottinger Ultimatum on certain things. You can find it, of course, on the drop-down menus here. You can see the Pottinger series. This is part of what we're going to discuss, only part of what we're going to discuss today, because, of course, the Pottinger Ultimatum is extremely important. There it is on the actual news paste. I got a lot of moving stuff on news paste now. And of course, you can find it on Newspaste. And this is about this is a very important article. I wrote in 2023. J. Stanley Pottinger, one of the lead lawyers representing victims of Jeffrey Epstein, was directly involved with covering up Watergate, the assassination of MLK, Kent State Massacre, and he played a vital part in the standoff at Wounded Knee, the case of Orlando Letelier, in CIA domestic surveillance, Iran-Contra, and the October surprise. He had shared an office with Epstein, run arms with him, and even lived 500 meters away from Epstein's Florida's house from hell, prepared to see Epstein's case in a completely different way. Welcome to the Pottinger Ultimatum. So say it now. Say it simple. This is how simple it is. This man on the screen, the next to Jeffrey Epstein here, that is Stanley Pottinger. Looks like my computer's actually having a Benny, which isn't a surprise. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't want you actually hearing any of this or seeing any of this, to be perfectly honest. Let's give that another go. So, right, okay. Let's see if we could do any of this. It's not actually coming off. Ah, right, I see. So I got to share each screen individual. Sorry, that's partially my own fault. I'm a bit of an idiot. I was actually going on to Oh, right, okay. Okay, window, there you go. Going. Give me just 1 second to catch up with everything. We'll go here. That's better. Right. So, yeah, good, good. Again, lots of this is going really slow. To be honest, it feels like my computer's under attack, which I wouldn't be surprised if it was, because the shit I'm going to talk about is not allowed to be talked about. What you're allowed to hear is what the CIA narrative setters are giving you, and the CIA narrative setters are giving you certain things really straight from the off. Listen, I had someone chastise me yesterday saying, "Oh, I hear loads of people like you who say the CIA, everyone's the CIA, and etc. etc." Listen, the whole media infrastructure is heavily controlled by the CIA. If you believe that there is no CIA presenting information to you as though it's fact, then you're living in a mystery world. You're living in a la la loopy land. You're living in a fairy tale. 60% maybe of this media infrastructure, the indie media, not the mainstream media. The mainstream media is nearly all controlled by different intelligence policy, intelligence infrastructure, the policy output, like public policy infrastructure to academics, other organizations that are attached to government, like the Royal Society and stuff. These guys have massive influence on the media. But in the indie media, the majority of it, could you really think Candace Owens is actually working for herself? Do you think Ben Shapiro actually works for himself? Do you think that most of these people actually, my experience has been, and I'm sorry if them sounds like I'm shouting, but my experience has been constantly discovering that people are probably working for intelligence. Otherwise, the decisions and the things, actions that they're taking don't make any sense. And this we're going to have to talk about today because we're going to have to talk about Nick Bryant. We're going to have to talk about Ryan Dawson. We're going to have to talk about Ian Carroll. We're going to talk about Derek Brose. I don't really want to put them in the same category, but to be perfectly honest, there's a whole category where they're all together, and they're putting themselves together. So if you start doing all shows together, and it's like 5 people from the CIA and one other person, you could probably think, oh, this is another narrative setter. I'm starting to think all of these guys are narrative setters because they all set the same narrative. And when important parts of the story need to be told, they don't tell it. They don't tell it at all. Oh my little lord. Oh my little lord. I get angry. Get angry. So this was the Pottinger Ultimatum. I did it ages ago. And I'm not going to start here. I'm going to pop through a couple of things that I am going to show you a little bit on Epstein 101 coercion and abuse, only a tiny little bit. What we're going to do here as well, we're going to look at one of the affidavits. We're going to look at one of the affidavits of Virginia Giuffre, and there's a reason why we're going to look through this. It's very important to understand what the point of what she was doing legally was at the start of the Epstein case is really important because it was seeding in false narratives. We're also going to look at the Federal Anti-Fraud Enforcement LLC, which was what I believe a CIA front company that was set up as the takedown unit of Jeffrey Epstein. We're going to look at when they were set up, where they were set up. We're going to find out some of the people who were in this, including one of the people who claims to be an Epstein victim who should never have been doing any of this. We're also, as I said, we're going to discuss. Here you see Derek Bros actually having a conversation with Bradley Edwards in late 2018. Now, recently, I accused Derek Bros of softballing Bradley Edwards with his questions, and I do still think that, but it was too early for him to know what was going on if he wasn't somehow involved. And I don't. And then we're going to look at again part of the Dershowitz part of this story, because I think this has a big part. This plays a big part of it. And one other thing we're gonna do here, let me find my keyboard hidden and around here. Right, there it is. Let me I'm gonna do something else as well. Let's open a new tab, shall we? A dangerous thing to do. And we'll say, let's go to Wikipedia. Yes, Wikipedia. I said it out loud. Wikipedia. Though I might not have actually pressed it. Like I say, this is going a tiny bit slow. So Wikipedia, Virginia, Giuffre. Okay, we're gonna go somewhere over here. It goes a bit slow when there's a reason why I'm doing this. I'm not someone who likes to use Wikipedia for what they claim Wikipedia is. This is not what I do, but I do want to show you something very interesting. So it shows here that she died April 25th, 2025, in Nyagabi, Western Australia, aged 41. She's a little bit younger than me. She's about 3 years younger than me. I want to do something that you're not expecting though. Let's go to view history. I want to look at something. This is something that I do when big events happen. Just as big events happen, I go to the history of a Wikipedia page. I know this sounds like a peculiar thing. Some of the people who know me may actually wait a second, I'm trying to catch up with the chat here. Katie's in the chat. Hello. So right here, Virginia Giuffre, the history, the revisions. So when a big event happens, the narrative setters are the first ones to start changing the information. So you see these people here, these accounts here that I'm just going over the top of. These guys have all been busy quickly editing Virginia Giuffre's page just after her death. A lot of it is minor. Some of it is large additions, which you'd expect after someone died. So say there is 665 added, 912 characters added. And what I want to do is go down a bit. This is really interesting. As I'm looking, it's really interesting. So you see that there'd be no updates on a Wikipedia page until the 26th of April. So that's just after it's the fact. And this is 1 o'clock in the morning. So this is showing UK time, I would believe. And you see before, it was the 9th of April was the last time that someone added in something extra about it. And then, of course, she dies. It comes out. There's a few additions. And I was kind of having a look at this, and I was looking at some of the things. And what I always look for is retractions. This is a time when the page is being edited that they like to take out, the narrative setters like to take out large parts while things are being mixed around, and hopefully no one will notice it happen. That's kind of the way I've seen it on other pages. And I noticed as soon as I looked at it, you see there's is about 20 relatively minor edits, some big additions, but very relatively minor until these two here. And this is by an account called Cedar777. I found this very interesting. Now, Cedar777, you'll notice Cedar777, Cedar777 making lots of different additions. Here, taking 1,800 characters away, and here 1,468 characters away, and here 412 characters away. They are chopping away. This is narrative setting as is happening on the official site where the narrative is kept. You see these big, and there's another one, Fred Zeppelin here, but you see these big chunks being taken out and it being rewritten. Her history is being rewritten as we speak, and it's mainly being rewritten by this one account, Cedar 777. And so this always interests me. This is their homepage at Wikipedia. This shows, it doesn't say necessarily who they are. But what I always found, if you actually view the history of their edits, like the edits of Cedar 777, the edit history. Oh, let's see. With view history, it should be. I should be. No, I don't want to go into that. I'm trying to work out user page. No, I want to actually go onto the page history. So I'm doing is just messing up a little bit here. Give me a second to catch up with myself. But Cedar 777 has made a lot of different wiki edits in their time, not just one or two. So let me see. We might have to go back to this in a little bit. Just because view logs page. No, because we are just looking at her page now. Right. Anyway, I'll do that in a second. But they made a lot of edits. They have made a lot of edits on this page. Right. Let me go back to that other page. Sorry, you're seeing me thinking as I go. So it's hard. My brain is small, and sometimes I don't get it right. But here you go. This is the user contributions for Cedar 777. And this shows all the edits Cedar 777 has done. And since Virginia Giuffre died, so here, all of the pages that they've edited, mainly Virginia Giuffre, but then a little bit of Ghislaine Maxwell, a little bit of Jeffrey Epstein. A lot of these are taken away. Now you'll see what gets taken away. It's rewording, taking out little details, taking out things like addresses, dates, things like this. And then you say, okay, what else is Cedar 777 editing? What else is this account editing? And what's really interesting is a lot of it is Trump related. So it's a bit about Ivana Trump. It's some about Elizabeth Bathory, the Hungarian woman who killed lots of children, but then lots about this Donald Trump, E. Jean Carroll case. So this is narrative set, and these are the people who are focused in on this. I find this a little bit interesting that this is the person who's setting the narrative. And there are some things, here you go, there's some about R. Kelly here, so obviously sex cases and things. There's some about this eye issue, an issue with the eye. And it's really interesting. You go back through some of their stuff and you say, okay, there's lots of differences, and they're talking about various stuff. Let's go right down to the bottom. Let's go to the older stuff. If we go to the older stuff, what do we find? That they're actually doing a lot of editing on again. And again, is Rittenhouse, but then a lot more Epstein again, or should be near the bottom. I'm quite off. Oldest. I should be going to the oldest, is what I should be doing. You get down to 2019, and just at the point when Epstein has been killed in prison and the Ghislaine Maxwell trial, this person is editing all of the pages of Ghislaine Maxwell, all of the pages of Isabel Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein, Julie K. Brown, who's one of the accusers, the Terramar Project. Yeah, so that's very interesting as well. Christine Maxwell. So this is a narrative setter who's focused quite heavily on Jeffrey Epstein, the Maxwell family. This is very interesting, I find. This is how Wikipedia works, you know. The Terramar Project, and even weirder, L7, the punk band. So for some reason, this person mainly out of all of the say, if you went through all of her pages, you'd say, okay, the majority of edits are on the Epstein case, including edits about Wexner and other things. Terramar, Jeffrey Epstein, Virginia Giuffre, Ghislaine Maxwell, Trump, Ivana Trump, and L7, the punk band. Really, the first edits they ever did from 2017, 2018, all the way up here, 2019, these are all about the band L7. And it's very strange. It's very strange that this would be the pages that this person's um uh edited. That it would L7 and then all of these things. So it makes you think that it might have some sort of link with L7 originally. Like maybe it was a promoter, maybe it was a marketer, maybe a managing agency company. I'm not sure. But remember the most famous, and this is ironic to start off. The most famous song they've got is Pretend We're Dead. The night, so they're doing things about Jeffrey Epstein, Virginia Giuffre, Terramar Project, all of the people who have been affected or gone missing, and L7. And I found that very peculiar that that's the person. Cedar 777. I'm yet to track that down or understand what that's about, but I thought that was an interesting place just to begin very briefly. It's very sad that Virginia Giuffre has died for sure. Right, okay, here we go. What what's going on here? If she calls L if she calls L7 a punk band, we got issues. Yeah, okay. Right, indeed, indeed. But they're grunge, post-punk grunge, okay? I kind of all pick it up into the same thing. It's a chick, an American chick. Yeah, yeah. There's I thought we had found it because me and someone else were looking into this, and we found copyright image of L7, and it said Cedar 777 is the owner of the copyright, but it was actually them just uploading it to Wikipedia, and it's automatically attributed it to them as copyright holder. But I'm not sure if it is. But I think it's someone who works with L7 and then afterwards went on to have a different career because L7 didn't really last long past the 90s, I suppose, completely. There might be more than one Cedar 777 out there. I do find it interesting. I'm not sure what to make of it. I do not. Again, Groove Dodger is admitting here that they've got an L7 single CD, so that would probably suggest that you're in with child traffickers. Sorry, I couldn't help it. Dispatch from Mar-a-Lago, that is interesting in that list, Johnny. Yes, maybe. I don't know. I just don't know what that's all about. Anyway, here is the website, of course. You can go to Newspace to find out some more information. Of course, last week we did the live on Jeffrey Epstein's family tree, where we started off a journey which is looking at his initial family tree. Of course, the Pottinger Ultimatum is something that I wrote in 2023, which people are only catching up with now. But I also wrote Epstein, Coercion and Abuse. And this was really, this was one of the 101 series. And this really looked at all of like this one, Coercion and Abuse, looked at all of the victims of Jeffrey Epstein and also ask questions like this. I mean, the section titled "Groomed or Groomer." A lot of this was from my notes from helping with One Nation Under Blackmail when I was helping Whitney with One Nation Under Blackmail, and some of it surprised me. I didn't expect to get some of it out. I am looking for a certain line, which is something that Virginia Giuffre said. But as you see here, there's Virginia Giuffre. A lot of these girls who got put out as the faces, they were th- there's nuance between what they were doing. it's easier now to talk about Virginia Giuffre than it was before. This is something she said. So she said, he, Epstein, will not have his day in court, but the reckoning of accountability has begun, supported by the voices of these very brave and beautiful women in the courtroom today. The reckoning must not end, it must continue. He did not act alone, and we, the victims, know that. Now, this possibly is more poignant for people who have done a bit of research into this, because there's nuance here. Some of within that same set of articles, there's one set of testimony from a young girl who says she was picked up by an adult Virginia Roberts, Virginia Giuffre, that she was driven to one of Epstein's house. She asked not to go. She begged Virginia not to in the car. Virginia told her to shut the fuck up and took her in, showed her what to do, started having sex with Epstein in front of her, and then told her it was her turn. So there is extreme nuance. In 2013, that shit hit the fan for Virginia Giuffre, because in 2013 came the case. Here we go. Let's come out of this share, because it's an awkward share. I might go back to the chat for a bit and see if anyone's got any questions before I start going through some of this, because I am going to go through some of the quotes made by Bradley Edwards. That was the man we saw talking to Derek Bros. First of all, I'm going to go across to the chat. Hey guys, really happy to see you though. All of you around. At the moment, there's been 586 people watching so far. Really appreciate the support at the moment as well I'm getting. Johnny can write up a storm. Yeah, it's true. I'm helping Teresa write her own life at the moment, and it's like I'm learning how to write even quicker and faster and more focused. I'm trying to hone my skill, because I wasn't trained like this really. Mazzy, my wonderful Mazzy, said Trump, I'm sure she means Trump, appointed lawyers to revoke Wiki's non-profit status, putting online encyclopedia in jeopardy. Not a surprise. Now, I think Trump was heavily involved in this. I think Trump is the reason why Epstein died and the rest died. I think he appointed Matthew Pottinger in 2017 to do this job, and this job rolled out. We got some can someone define nuance? I'm thinking the definition is little difference. Okay, I what I'm saying straight is that there is a very little difference between the job Virginia Giuffre was doing and the job that Sarah Kellen or Ghislaine Maxwell was doing. The only difference was she was recruited when she was 17. Then 18 and 19, she's doing the same thing and trained by Ghislaine Maxwell to do the same thing. Same as Maria Farmer. Maria Farmer says this herself. We can actually have a look at a bit of that now.
One of Jeffrey Epstein's accusers, who said she has an inside view of his world, is giving us disturbing new details of what happened. Maria Farmer was a young artist in the 1990s when she met Epstein. She and her younger sister, Annie, claim Epstein sexually assaulted them, and Farmer is now suing Epstein estate over the alleged incident. Farmer says she was the first known accuser to alert law enforcement to Epstein a decade before his first arrest. In her first TV interview, Farmer talks about why she's still seeking justice even after